Hey guys, today I would like to talk about chemistry solutions, concentrations, and dilutions, and go over some basic concepts and then do a couple practice problems. So, in chemistry, it's really important to be able to calculate how much of something is in a solution and also how that changes when you add more water or somehow change that concentration. So, in order to describe solutions and different chemistry reactions and things, it's important to have some definitions that help us identify different components of solutions. So, the first one is the solute. So, this is basically the minor component of a solution that's being dissolved. So, it could be, salt. If you're adding it to water, the solute would be salt because that would be being dissolved into the water. So, whatever the liquid is that you're using to dissolve the solute is known as the solvent. So, this is normally a liquid phase that is in the solution, and it's whatever you're using in order to dissolve the solute. So, then when we combine together the solute and the solvent, this gives us a solution. So, for example, we could have a beaker that we add water to. So, the water would be the solvent because we're going to use that to dissolve the solute. So, here we could say our solute is sugar cubes that are going to dissolve. And then we can mix it up and have the sugar dissolve. And this will give us overall a solution. So, the solution contains the solute, which is sugar, and the solvent, which would be the water, to give an overall solution. So, the way that we can explain how much of something is in a solution is a term called molarity. So, when we talk about molarity, this is basically just how much of a substance is in the overall solution. So, molarity, which is usually given as a capital M. This is essentially just moles of solute, which, like we said, was what is being dissolved in the solution. And this is divided by the liters of solution. So, if we wanted to do an example of this, let's say we have 10 moles of glucose added to 1,000 milliliters of water. And one thing to note as well is in our equation, we're talking about liters of solution. So it's important that even though in this question we're talking about milliliters, we need to actually convert that to liters in order to make sure that we get the correct answer. So, like we said, our equation is molarity equals moles of solute divided by liters of solution. So here we would have 10 moles of glucose divided by 1 liter. So basically, 1,000 milliliters is equal to 1 liter. So this would give us overall a 10 molar solution of glucose. So that would be our answer. Pretty simple. So then, if we want to talk about how a solution changes when you take some of a solution and then you basically dilute it. So let's say we have a 10 molar solution of dye and we take a dropper and we remove 10 milliliters of this dye and then we add it to 100 milliliters of water. So in this case, we're changing the concentration of the original solution by diluting it with water. So if we have a situation like this, we can use the equation M1V1 equals M2V2. So M1 would be your initial concentration, and then your V1 would be actually the volume of that concentration that you're using to dilute. So sometimes in questions, you'll see it'll say, okay, this is 100 milliliters of this solution. but you wouldn't use the 100 milliliters because that's not the amount of solution that's actually going into your new solution. So sometimes this can throw people off, but just make sure that whenever you do these calculations, you pay attention to the amount of dye or solution or whatever that's actually being used to create the new dilution. So your M2, this would be what you're technically solving for. You're trying to figure this out. And then your V2 would be the volume of solution that you're basically adding to. So you would take, in this case, if we wanted to calculate this, putting it all together, our M1 is 10 molar, and then our V1 is 10 milliliters. So then this would be equal to our new concentration times the volume of solution that we added it to. So this would be 100 milliliters. So basically what you do here, you're just going to have to solve for M2. So if we basically just get M2 by itself, we can do that by dividing by 100 milliliters. And then you also really want to make sure that the units for the volume are the same on both sides. So it doesn't matter what it is. It could be liters, it could be milliliters, it could be microliters, whatever. But it's just important that whatever it is the same on both sides of the equation. So that way they can cancel each other out. So then what we would have here, we'd have milliliters would cancel out. So then 10 times 10 is basically 100 divided by 100. So overall, we would end up with a 1 molar solution at the end of our dilution. So another practice problem, if we just want to go ahead and try this, you guys can also feel free to pause the video at this point and go through this yourself and try to solve it on your own. So if you want to pause it, give yourself a few minutes to figure it out, and then you can resume the video and make sure you got the right answer. Okay, so if we go ahead and write down our original equation that we were using, M1V1 equals M2V2. So in this case, our initial concentration is that 1 molar. So 1 molar. And then this would be times the amount of volume that was taken from that solution. So this would be 5 milliliters. And then we're again trying to figure out what our M2, our new concentration is. And this will be times our new volume. So this would be 150 milliliters. So then overall, we can do the same way that we solved it before, where we just divide by that volume to get the concentration by itself. And then our units for volume will cancel out. So then we end up with 5 over 150. And this is 0.033 molar. So this would be our new concentration. So hopefully you guys got that. So I hope this was helpful. I think doing a lot of practice with these type of questions helps a lot. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. I'm going to be putting out a lot more videos, so if you guys have specific questions or topics or anything that you want help with, feel free to comment and let me know what those things are, and I'm happy to make videos and help you guys. And good luck studying. I'll see you next time.